you think is the best way as a musician to build and nurture a fan base on YouTube or any other online platform for that matter? I recently hit about 219 or 220 videos and I found it to be quite an interesting experience. My expectations were kind of all over the place, as would anyone's be. And as we've seen, a number of YouTubers with just a small number of videos and the right strategic approach have taken off, you know, millions of views. You or I could probably think of one or two of these people, and what fantastic work they've done. But the reality of the situation for me was somewhat a bit different. People always tell you to be consistent, keep at it and either experiment with your approach, or you need to switch up and focus different ideas. So let's get to the crux of it anyway. What have I learned? 200 videos later. I suppose the best perspective I can give you is, in my experience, that as you post more videos, you will get more views, and depending on the frequency of how often you post these videos, so how often you're publishing, will depend on how those views compound over time, which will also have an effect on the lifespan of your videos as well, and how many impressions YouTube will give them to potential viewers that might like your videos. So from the end of 2022 to the end of 2023, I published about 50 videos, mostly of the seasonal sessions, doing kind of loop-based performance stuff, because I wanted to kind of test how, as a musician, you could keep publishing something that is definitely related to music without having to recycle one or two songs over and over again, or work with the limitations of typical publishing schedules and typical arrangements that you'd have with either a record label or a distributor, and then using video and video publishing platforms as a means to market that product. I thought it'd be an interesting idea to experiment with doing a succession of improvised performances where it's something that could be different every single time and quite experimental, with the risk of mistakes, but the benefit of something else evolving from that, and obviously using ideas from bits of music that work quite well and maybe recycling that into a more serious project later on down the line. Some of the channels that I compare the sort of thing I do to would maybe be the sort of thing you'd see on The Boiler Room, Mark Rebier. There's plenty of examples I'm sure you can think of. I was trying to find a way to target or access the types of audiences that would be interested in those kinds of performances as well. But obviously, given my own expressions and my own musical ideas, I faced the typical challenges that you would as building a fan base as a new musician, as well as building a new YouTube channel, and also trying to fit into the necessary demographics and appeal to the audience that I was looking to target, which can be quite tricky and takes a lot of time and consistency, as well as experimentation to see what works and what doesn't work. Once you manage to gain some sort of traction, or once I managed to get a few videos that did get some reasonable views, I noticed that overall the views and impressions my channel was getting had increased, but at the same time the watch time averages had gone down, and then obviously the watch time being the most central metric to figuring out whether people were watching or enjoying the videos, or whether I needed to be more concise with some of my ideas depending on how attention spans were dropping off, or maybe there were parts of the performances that could have been a bit more entertaining. So it's all been a really interesting learning curve, and at the same time I've been trying to develop my skills as a performer, as a musician, as a videographer, as an editor, everything, you know, and it's been a fantastic experience. I definitely recommend it, but I would say tread lightly and aim for the stars, but at the same time have realistic expectations, because although you hear about one or two people having a lot of success on YouTube, there is a crazy amount of stuff being uploaded to YouTube all the time, and music is a very difficult area or category to actually break into, because a lot of the types of people that are consuming music on YouTube are typically looking for music videos and other things. That's not always the case, but you have to do some research based on the kind of audiences that you're looking for. It's also really easy to get obsessed with the metrics and analytics and how many views you get or how a video does, and in all honesty it's best to kind of relax, especially once you've published a video. Sure, check in and, you know, make sure you're replying to any comments or keeping a close eye on, you know, any significant changes, but at the same time you don't want it to affect your mental health. You don't want to get in a burnout cycle where you're chasing specific metrics or changing the kind of stuff you would want to make or want to do just because you're looking to try and hit that viral trend. I'll be honest, I don't think any viral trend is ever usually a good thing. Even if you capitalise on it, usually it's something beyond your control and someone else is already capitalising on it. So it's difficult. There are people who have managed to do well from that kind of thing, but it's far more rewarding to actually build a fan base or people who are interested in your stuff and just be happy for that, what it is. There's something I've always thought was interesting is people talk about how views or, you know, watch time, how, like, oh, 10 views, oh, my video only got 10, or my video only got 100 views or whatever. You think if that was that many people in a room, you know, or like a cinema or a theatre or something like that, it changes the perspective on things. So there's plenty of upsides to it, just also don't get knackered in the process and take a break if you need to. That's what I'm always all about. I know I hit it pretty hard last year, doing lots of videos every other day, and then, yeah, I took 6 months and didn't upload anything. So it's nice to be back. I just kind of wanted to provide some insight into the sort of things I've done and my experiences and how that's kind of shaped what I do. And I'm still experimenting, you know. I'm 200 videos down the line and looking to make plenty more at my own pace. I'm just doing what I'm doing. I'm not trying to chase any trends or get anyone's attention in particular, and just hope that there's people out there that enjoy what I do. I'll keep coming with it. Anyway, have a great one, and I'll see you soon.